Back in 1987, when parachute pants, video cassettes, go ask your parents, and mullets were all the rage, a group of 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles exploded onto our screens and became an instant hit, remaining household names to this day. But let's just rewind a bit, back to 1981, where the radical origins for these 4 icons began. In 1981, 2 aspiring comic book artists, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, were first introduced and became good friends, bonding over their love for the comic book medium. They eventually moved in together and started their own studio from their home. Thus, Mirage Studios was born. Later on, Eastman drew a drawing of a turtle standing up dressed as a ninja, just for fun, during a brainstorming session. The thought of a slow creature like this able to perform Bruce Lee-like feats amused them both. And although it started as a joke, the idea stuck with them until they eventually decided to create a comic book series based on it. Heavily inspired by Frank Miller's seminal work in the 80s, especially Daredevil, whose origin they parodied when the same canister of a mysterious radioactive substance that gave Matt Murdock his powers also spilled down onto 4 unsuspecting turtles, doing the same for them. And while Daredevil was trained by a man named Stick, the turtles of course had Splinter. And instead of the evil clan of ninjas known as the Hand in Marvel Comics, the Turtles had the Foot. So, after using up their savings and getting a loan from Eastman's uncle, Eastman and Laird managed to self-publish the first ever issue of TMNT. After taking out an advert in issue 545 of the Comic Buyer's Guide, they managed to get the attention of a distributor and make enough money to pay back Eastman's uncle. In fact, they did so well that they had a second printing run, which also sold out. The success of the books eventually grabbed the attention of Playmates Toys, who wanted to create a line of action figures based on the characters. But due to the smaller cult following, they asked to arrange a television deal to boost the attention of the Ninja Turtles. Eastman and Laird were understandably protective of their property, but eventually agreed to have a 5-episode miniseries produced by the Murakami Wolf Swenson studio, which was shown in December of 1987 and immediately blew up, leading to another series in 88 and a line of toys released that summer, which proved massively popular, gaining the 4 teenagers a permanent place in pop culture. Their popularity of course later expanded by the early 90s to a wide variety of merchandise with their smiling green faces on, such as cereals, Pez dispensers, video games, skateboards, stationery and much more. Chances are you're most familiar with the animated series or the films, but the original comic book series contained a far darker tone, with no holding back on the violence and more adult realistic language. Plus, some of the villains who were made much more acceptable for a Saturday morning kids cartoon were far creepier and violent in the books. Due to the massive leap in popularity, Eastman and Laird had to step back from the day-to-day work on the books due to overseeing various licensing deals. This led to shorter stories and disrupted the continuity that had been built up, until the original creators returned from issue 50 with the City at War arc, which lasted until issue 62 where the first volume of the comic books concluded. Unfortunately, the second volume of the books only lasted 13 issues before being cancelled in October 1995. This was due to declining popularity for the characters. Like a lot of popular cartoons in the 90s, a live-action movie adaptation was developed. In March of 1990, on a budget of $13 million, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was released and was a box office success, bringing in $202 million. The film used elements from the early comic books, like their origins, and the animated series, such as the different coloured bandanas and love of pizza. The success of the movie led to 2 sequels and a live-action series called Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, which only lasted the 1 season, but did deliver what would have been mind-blowing to a younger me crossover with the Power Rangers in Power Rangers in Space, where the Turtles were brainwashed into fighting the Rangers. Radical. The show also introduced a 5th female mutant turtle named Venus de Milo, which Laird was far from happy with. In 1996, the animated series finally came to an end after 10 series, the year before The Next Mutation debuted. To this day, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are still a household name and are still receiving the live action, comic book and animated treatment over 3 decades from their debut, now having spawned 4 animated series, 6 feature-length films and numerous video games. And to think, it all started with a silly drawing. If you've enjoyed the video, then please like and subscribe for new ones. Cheers for watching.